Hey, good morning. Todd Claussen, territory agronomist with the Calvin Asgrow here. It's May 14th, Monday, May 14th, and we are just south of Boone, Iowa, out at Bloomington Seed. This is Monday Morning Alert. Want to talk about scouting for black cutworm. And my first tip and my biggest tip is you got to get out of this thing. It's pretty simple to do. All I'm doing is counting. I run a little tally counter and I count plants as fast as I can. I'm looking for plants that are cut. Right here in front of me I've got a few plants that are cut. Black cutworm are going to sever plants pretty horizontal, and they're going to sever them fairly clean. They are nighttime feeders or nocturnal feeders, so they're really difficult to find during the warm temperatures and sunshine in the day. And if you're going to find them, you're just going to dig around the base of the plant and look anywhere from right underneath this crusty surface all the way down to maybe 1.5 inches, because they are attracted to the growing point, because the growing point is giving off carbon dioxide because of respiration. And later, as these plants get bigger, this one's also cut, as these plants get bigger and you're walking along, you're going to see a plant that will just melt down and is going to be kind of wilted. Well, the black cutworm are going after the growing point, which is still way down here underneath the soil, and when it kills that growing point, it no longer gives off carbon dioxide. Well, black cutworm's no longer attracted to it. So where does it go? Right to the next plant, or right to the next plant. All right? So I just walk along and I count 100 plants at a time, and I just count them on my tally counter. Where am I going to look first? Low-lying areas, depressed areas, areas that are poorly drained, areas that have lots of weed pressure. You think about these moths, they're flying and they want to drop down and lay single eggs. And so they want to do this, and they'll lay 2,000 eggs at a time. And so they want it very, very comfortable. They are more apt to be in soybean stubble because of the flatness of the surface. So I'm looking for soybean stubble, I'm looking for low-lying areas, poorly drained areas, areas that are going to have natural vegetation adjacent to them. We have a pretty wide waterway on our south here, or if you're adjacent to pasture, if you're adjacent to alfalfa, those are going to be the hot places to look. If you're no-till, if you have lots of vegetation, because that's where these moths are going to fly in light. But black cutworm, the predicted estimated cutting date from Iowa State University based on the April moth flight counts is May 18th, so Thursday of this week. It's time to start scouting for black cutworm. Just a couple other things on this Monday Morning Alert. We're seeing a couple bad planting dates, a couple of, well, not bad, but poorer planting dates than others. April 12th, April 26th. April 12th was a Thursday, April 26th was a Friday. What they both have in common is they were followed by a pretty cool rain and a lower air temp, which took our soil temperature down, and we're coming into some issues that are having some imbibitional chilling from those planting dates. And I'll give you an idea of what we're looking at. As we dug this, there's a skip here, an obvious skip, and as we dug that up, you saw we've got a plant that started to come to the surface, and then it broke open the coleoptile sheath, and then the shoot or the plumule started to wrap itself in. And what's happening is, as this seed imbibes cold water, it ruptures some of the cell formation, and it makes the cell membranes very rigid, and it can abort some tissue, and so that's why you get this twisting around, because there's less tissue on one side than the other. And that's from what we call imbibitional chilling. It's poorer and worse in coarse soils, or gravelly or sandy soils, because they will cool down faster and they will imbibe water at a faster rate. This plant will not make it out of the ground, and we are seeing some areas that are showing all the way down to, if we dropped at 33,000, I was on a farm earlier this morning near Perry that was down to 21,000 plants per acre, planted on April the 12th due to imbibitional chilling, and these plants aren't going to come out, nor are they going to be very, very viable if they did come out. So if we're thinking about that today, what would we do? About 21,000 plants per acre. I'm going to go in and tear it up, and I'm going to replant it. Probably through the end of this week, the 18th or the 19th. Data would tell you, unless unless I'm, you know, above 24, 25,000. If I'm down to that 20 and 21,000 plants per acre today, I can certainly do myself a lot better by replanting a farm like that. So take into consideration 21,000 plants per acre theoretically is going to cost you about 19% yield. On 200 bushel yield potential, you're almost 40 bushels an acre. You can do a lot better based on today's planting date. So, hey, we talked a little bit about black cutworm. Get out and take a look this week. Look for cut plants. 2 to 3% black cutworm cutting is justifiable for insecticide control. There's lots of products out there you can use to control this pest. Call your local agronomist, call Bloomington Seed, or call us at DeKalb and Asgrow. And hey, it's May 14th, it's Monday Morning Alert. I'm Todd Claussen, Territory Agronomist, DeKalb and Asgrow. Thank you.